As the drama in the world of hip-hop and love continues to heat up, Rasheeda is making headlines for all the wrong reasons this time. After making a shocking revelation that has everyone in a state of shock, fans are outraged. Her bold claim that she spent the night with Mendeecees, a man who has been at the center of numerous relationship issues with his wife, Mendeecees, shocked viewers during a live broadcast. Is this betrayal at its worst? The rumor spread like wildfire, raising emotions in the love and hip-hop world. Mendeecees is furious and demands explanations from NBC, who seems to be involved in a love triangle that no one saw coming after being caught off guard by the shocking revelation. In addition, social media users have mixed opinions about Rasheeda, with some applauding her and others condemning her for allegedly trying to destroy a family. What is the truth? Drama is nothing new. In the world of love and hip-hop, but when Rita casually revealed this shocking revelation during a live session, audiences were left in complete disbelief. It was one of those moments that immediately sparked conversation and led to countless stories. Rita is lying, and it's just getting started. This is the kind of scandalous drama that keeps people glued to their TVs as we delve into this exciting tale. Stay tuned. Arguments between Mendeecees and Mendeecees had already resulted in a great deal of drama, but now that Rasheeda's claim was still pending, the tension was almost unbearable. Rita was interacting with her fans during a live stream, as she usually does, when she said something that stopped everything in its tracks. Although nothing seemed out of the ordinary, she said bluntly, "Yeah, I spent the night with Mendeecees," as if it were just another incident in her already eventful life. But this was more than just a comment. It was a statement that sparked a social media frenzy. Fans were shocked, and their reactions ranged from indignation to incredulity. Everyone agreed that this was a big deal, despite some people finding it hard to believe and others believing it was a Mendeecees receives comments during that live webcast caused a storm, rather than just a rumor. Fans immediately began dissecting every word she said. Was she telling the truth? Was this a publicity stunt? Or did she say something that was partially true? In reality, no one was sure. This was a huge claim, and things were going to get even worse because men were already in a shaky marriage. Though there had been a lot of speculation about him, supporters eagerly awaited his response, and his marriage to Mendeecees had been troubled for some time. But now that Rasheeda had made this shocking revelation, everything changed. However, the high likelihood that it was real was more than enough to set the stage for one of the most significant scandals to ever affect the hip-hop and love franchise. After the story spread like wildfire, NBC, which had been largely silent about the escalating situation, finally spoke up. Mendeecees posted something cryptic rather than a clear rejection or affirmation, indicating that although people love to start drama, the truth always comes out. The already raging flames were only fueled by those comments, and fans wondered if he was acknowledging it. Was there any truth to Russia's shocking revelation, or was just his way of avoiding the situation? Fans wondered if he was acknowledging it. Mendeecees was utterly unprepared in the meantime. Despite having been handling her own difficulties in the ER spotlight, this was something very different. Despite her reputation for composure, Mendeecees was unable to hide her annoyance as messages were flooding in from all directions, and her phone was blowing up. Anyone could see that she was in shock, and her emotions were all over the place when she finally went live to address the issue. Her face was a mix of hurt, confusion, and anger. Her voice broke as she went on, "I don't know what's going on, but I'll find out the truth." She was clearly unsure whether to trust Rasheeda or Mendeecees, but it was undeniable that she was upset and hurt by the possibility that her husband was involved in something so harmful. Mendeecees supporters immediately rallied to her defense, accusing REIA of lying and calling on the Mendeecees to come out and make amends. Some even claimed that Rasheeda was just trying to get more attention and increase her television time. While the hatred for Rasheeda was clear, others were also questioning the men's silence. How could he just keep quiet in the face of such serious charges? Before long, things took a darker turn. More rumors began to circulate online, spread rumors of covert meetings, hidden messages, and even video evidence. Some followers claimed that Rhea had text messages or pictures to back up her claims, while others believed that she men confessing to their night together. The proof had to be strong for Rasheeda to make such a bold claim, and the stress grew as the days went by. Now that he was completely damaged, Yandi went into control mode and began reaching out to close friends and family members to find out more information about the situation. She couldn't understand why Mendeecees wasn't being more open and was in desperate need of answers. The longer he remained silent, the more questions were asked. Was there something he was hiding? Was there still more to the story that wasn't known? Rita, on the other hand, played the role of provocateur. She knew what she had done and the drama she had caused, and she was enjoying every moment of the chaos she had. The cast of Love and Hip Hop, who are usually accustomed to drama, were now watching this situation from a distance. While some members chose to keep quiet, others were forced to respond to the rumors she fueled on social media by posting, "If they want the truth, they'll get it." She kept her attention on the public with each new post, demonstrating her command of the story, the growing chaos. He finally broke his silence again as the pressure on Mendeecees increased, but this time his response was even more shocking. Was no ordinary scandal, not just another fight between the actors, but a shocking revelation that could have destroyed relationships and families. Everyone could see everything unfolding in real time, and it was intimate. He was more evasive than the last time, writing, "The truth will always come to light, allowing admirers to read the message any way I saw fit." Was he confessing something, or was he trying to conceal the truth? His ambiguous messages caused supporters to become more divided than before, and the stakes were higher than ever because Rita had put a major snag in the relationship between Men and Yandi, which was the consequences of Rasheeda's accusation were just beginning, and it was impossible to predict how this story would unfold. Already in danger, everyone was curious about what was going on, who was speaking the truth, and who was trying to control the situation for their own benefit. With each new development, the situation grew more dramatic, and fans anxiously awaited the next jigsaw puzzle. Would Mendeecees finally come clean? Time would tell, but one thing was certain. The world was following every move, and the drama was far from over. As the days passed, the controversy surrounding Rasheeda's shocking admission of sleeping with men only intensified. There were numerous heated discussions on social media, and every new post or comment seemed to fan the flames. Fans couldn't stop talking about it, and other members of the Love and Hip Hop cast started to join in. There was a lot of tension in the air, and it was clear that this issue would not be resolved. It was becoming a major show, and still in shock at Rasheeda's claim, Yandi began acting on initiative. She was determined to find the truth, but the more she looked into it, the more confusing the situation became. She tried to get a direct response from Men, but his responses were vague and distant. Told her over the phone, "We'll talk when the time is right," which made Yandi feel even more isolated and agitated. It seemed like he had something to hide, and the longer he stayed silent, the more she felt like he was avoiding her, which further widened their gap. Yandi's emotions were all over the place. She was hurt, confused, and angry at the same time. How could Mendeecees allow this kind of thing to happen without confronting it head-on? She had always stood by him and supported him no matter what. The drama was taking up all of her thoughts, and her feelings were completely entangled with the controversy, so Yandandi was unable to focus on anything else. At the same time, Mendeecees remained evasive, drawing back into silence the more Rita's claim was questioned. Fans were forced to interpret his increasingly cryptic behavior, and it seemed like he was ignoring her when she most needed him. Their relationship seemed to be on the verge of collapsing. Social media posts that they deemed appropriate one evening, he tweeted, "Sometimes the truth is harder than the lies," which sent followers into a tizzy. Was he confessing to Rasheeda's affair, or were his ambiguous remarks intended to confuse everyone? No one was sure, but his posts' ambiguity only made matters worse. As the situation progressed, people swiftly took sides because they thought Rasheeda's version of events was accurate. Other fans supported her and accused Mendeecees of lying or hiding the truth, citing his silence as proof of guilt and claiming that he would have rejected Rita's claim right away if he truly had nothing to hide. "Mendeecees is shady," one admirer said, adding that he would have put an end to this if he truly cared about Yandi, but instead he's letting it continue. Rasheeda was quickly criticized by others who said that she was using controversy to gain attention. One commenter claimed that the argument between the supporters was becoming more heated by the minute, and that was a cheap way of doing it. Every New development seemed to only fuel the flames, and there was a new twist when a leaked video appeared just as things were spiraling out of control. Went viral on social media, seemingly showing Mendeecees and Rasheeda together at a hotel. The two were seen laughing and talking in the video, clearly comfortable with each other. Although the video was short, it was enough to spark a flurry of rumors. Every frame was scrutinized by fans who searched it for clues of something more, in each detail. Was this video interpreted as confirmation of the assertion, or did it just show two friends hanging together? Innocently, the video only served to further complicate the mystery, and it appears that everyone had an opinion. Some admirers claimed that the video could have been shot months prior to Rasheeda's accusation, and others said that it showed a connection between Mendeecees and Rasheeda that went beyond simple friendship. Naturally, Yandandi was distraught when she saw the footage, shocked at what she was seeing Rasheeda make. Seemed to have some merit if the video was real, but Yandi held back from making snap decisions because she wanted to hear the entire story. She called the men again and asked for an explanation, but he sidestepped her questions and gave no conclusive answers. "We'll talk about it when the time is right," he said in a cold, detached tone. The video's authenticity began to be questioned by fans, who speculated that Mendeecees and Rasheeda had been secretly dating for months, and that this was just the beginning. The suspense was increased by the idea that Mendeecees and Rasheeda had been hiding something from everyone. Was there an affair going on here, or were there only two people involved in an incident that got out of hand? In the meantime, Symbol was feeling the heat. While some members took sides and voiced their opinions about the incident, others opted to keep quiet to avoid getting caught up in the drama. Nevertheless, everyone had an opinion, and the issue swiftly became the most talked about topic in the reality TV industry. After news outlets picked up the story, the sudden revelation of the love triangle quickly became the talk of the world. The hip-hop and love producers were desperately attempting to deal with the ramifications behind the scenes. We were aware that although this drama might attract enormous audiences, it also posed a threat to the relationships between the main actors of the show. Would the controversy be the end of Mendeecees Yandi's marriage, or would they be able to handle it? What role would Rasheeda play in this whole situation? There was no question that the drama was far from over, and it would only get stranger from here on out. As the situation progressed, more details emerged, and rumors about Mendeecees' past started to circulate. Everyone connected to the Love and Hip Hop franchise, not just Mendeecees and Yandandi, would undoubtedly be affected by this controversy because of his relationships with other women and even his involvement in questionable business dealings. Fans were eager to learn the truth about what truly happened between Mendeecees and Rasheeda. Would there be more videos and shocking revelations? Only time would tell, but for the time being, one thing was certain. The drama was just getting started and was about to reach a whole new level. She found it incomprehensible that he refused to come clean and that he was allowing this drama to play out without taking responsibility. He became more distant and his responses more evasive every time him. The emotional toll on all parties involved began to become evident as the situation continued to get out of hand. Yandandi, who used to be so self-assured and in charge, began to doubt everything in front of her eyes. The constant accusations, rumors, and gossip were having a detrimental effect on Yandi's mental and emotional health, and she wondered if this meant that their relationship had always been unstable. She tossed and turned during sleepless nights, wondering what the future held for her and Mendeecees. Every time she looked through social media, new posts from followers appeared, and each one was more savage than the one before. It seemed like everyone had an opinion about her personal life, with some people supporting her and others opposing her. Even though she had once been a rock for many people, she was unable to focus on anything right now, including her family and career. The scandal consumed every thought because she wasn't sure who she could trust, and she even began to distance herself from her friend Mendeecees, the one person who should have been by her side. In the meantime, the most distant man was dealing with the fallout in his own way. His defensive strategy of keeping quiet backfired, as fans grew more wary of him every time he hesitated to speak out, and the media began to notice his lack of candor. He tried to focus on his work and keep a low profile, but the strain was inevitable, and the rumors followed him everywhere he went. This is one of the most talked about scandals in the industry right now. Focused on the once celebrated reality star Mendeecees, and as his past began to surface, fans and tabloids dug into it, uncovering long-forgotten scandals and rumors. Some of these rumors focused on his financial dealings, while others highlighted his relationships with other women. Everyone seemed eager to ruin the reputation he had worked so hard to build, and Mendeecees had always taken great pride in Kirk Frost. Rita's husband was a new character as the drama intensified, and Kirk was caught in the crossfire after previously being a supporting player in the love and hip-hop cosmos. Their animosity had always been simmering beneath the surface, and Kirk had his own issues with men, but now that he was a family man and a guy who had improved his life, it seemed like everything was falling apart. Kirk was furious about Rasheeda's accusations because he couldn't stand to see his wife being drawn into this mess, and he wasn't going to let men get away with whatever was going on behind the scenes. In an exclusive interview with a popular website, Kirk publicly accused men of being dishonest and disrespecting his wife. "No one is going to disrespect Pressa like that," Kirk said angrily. Fans were now divided between Kirk and Mendeecees as well as between Rasheeda and Yewande. There didn't seem to be any way out for anyone involved, and the drama between the men was now on par with the drama between the women. Kirk's comments only served to fan his flames. "Mendeecees has always been shady, and now he's playing games with my family. Kirk is just mad because his wife is involved in the scandal," one fan wrote on social media. The competition between the two men reached a boiling point, and it was obvious that things were about to get much worse. He's trying to make himself relevant again by trashing Mendeecees. Several others sided with Kirk, arguing that Mendeecees was a manipulator and liar who had been stirring up trouble for too long. The matter escalated when Kirk made a mysterious comment on his Instagram account that seemed to be a hint at a confrontation with Mendeecees. Kirk went on to say, "Some things are better settled face to face." It featured an image of a fist. Fans viewed the message as threatening right away, and shortly after, there were rumors that the media began reporting on the possibility of a physical altercation between Kirk and Mendeecees because they couldn't resist stoking the fires. The hip-hop and romantic rivalry grew more intense. One headline read, "Will Kirk and Mendeecees fight?" It was clear that things were getting out of control. In the meantime, Rasheeda's cast continued to perform hip-hop and love songs. Mendeecees' Yewande and Rasheeda's drama had taken on a life of its own, and it was becoming more difficult to predict how it would all end. Nevertheless, one thing was certain. Everyone involved, both on and off screen, would be impacted by this controversy. The plot became more complex with each new turn, and fans were watching a full-fledged scandal unfold in real time rather than merely following a simple love triangle. As the story developed, everyone was wondering if the relationships of the love and hip-hop stars would be destroyed by this scandal, or if they would be able to withstand the mayhem. Hip-hop and love had changed from a reality show to a battlefield for private grudges, resentment, and accusations spoken in public. The cast was caught in an endless cycle of turmoil, treachery, and suspicion. While viewers were captivated, it seemed as though there was no way out of the reality TV tale that had grown from a single claim. Far from over, but only time would tell. Every move they made was closely watched, and the tension between Yewande and Rasheeda was at an all-time high. Whatever happened next, it was clear that this story would not end quietly. When Mendeecees finally broke his silence, the situation reached a breaking point, and he decided to go live on Instagram to finally face the chaos. His decision to speak up after days of being bombarded with questions, accusations, and rumors was well thought out. He knew that the longer he stayed silent, the worse the rumors would get, but he was unprepared for the backlash that followed. As soon as he went live, Mendeecees said, "I've been quiet long enough." The comment section was filled with pirate fans, skeptics, and others who wanted explanations. He continued, "What you guys are unaware of is that the story you're hearing about me and Rita is fabricated and twisted. You all know that I stay out of situations like these, but people tried to create drama and tension as supporters leaned in to wait for him to reveal the secret." He said this in a steady but irritated tone. "Enough, enough. I have to correct the record. Spread false information." He paused to collect his thoughts before continuing, saying, "The truth is nothing happened. between Rasheeda and me? Not a thing. Fans were shocked by the statement that Reva's assertion had been categorically rejected by Mendeecees, and his comments were taken seriously. However, the issue was that nobody seemed to take him seriously. His denial was criticized by many admirers on social media who said it was just another attempt to hide the reality. According to one comment, Mendeecees IE'd to maintain his composure, but it was clear that the pressure was starting to wear him down. Although he was used to being in the spotlight, he had never experienced this level of scrutiny, and his personal life was being scrutinized. On the show, we all saw the chemistry between him and Rita. Now, as supporters on both sides dug in their heels, the argument over whether or not Mendeecees telling the truth only served to heighten the drama. Destroyed by the drama, which was also affecting his career. Yandandi felt a range of emotions after watching the live stream on her phone. She wanted to believe him, but she was also starting to doubt him. Since the accusations came to light, their distance has only grown, and she couldn't get rid of the uneasy feeling that something wasn't quite right. After everything she had already experienced with him, it seemed like he was hiding something. Mendeecees. Throughout the remaining minutes of the live stream, he repeatedly denied the accusations and insisted that he was innocent. He claimed that he was only the target of false reports and had nothing to do with Rasheeda's problems, but it became clear as he spoke that he was acting more defensively than usual. It was to ignore the tension in his remarks as his usual charm gave way to a sense of rage. It seemed as though he was trying to convince both the audience and himself. Rita immediately responded, "I told the truth with a strong, angry tone. There's no way I'm going to let Mendeecees about spending the night with me. Do you guys believe that I'm fabricating this to get attention? I'm not that kind of woman. Sorry, I'm being honest here," she wrote in a series of posts on her Instagram story, addressing Mendeecees' denial immediately after watching his live video. Rita said, "He wants to act as if it never happened, but I'm not going to let him get away with it." She went on to publish further postings detailing her side of the story and presenting herself as the victim of men's deceit and manipulation. Her fans quickly rallied behind her, with some even cheering her on. Yandi was caught in the middle of the chaos between Mendeecees and Rasheeda, and no one knew what to believe. For her bravery and others criticizing Mendeecees, his alleged acts, the truth always comes out. And now it's time for you all to see who he really is. Fans couldn't get enough of their public verbal sparring, which was now in full force. The fire was stoked by each post comment and new piece of information. Her emotions were running high as it got more intense, and she tried to make sense of everything. Although she wanted to believe Mendeecees, she couldn't shake the feeling that he was hiding something from her. Given the way he was acting, she couldn't rule out the possibility that he was lying. He seemed to be holding back and keeping her at a distance whenever they spoke. Their once strong bond was now in jet party, but it wasn't just Yandi who had doubts. Kirk couldn't help but voice his concerns again after silently watching from the sidelines. Mendeecees is a fraud. He has been deceiving Yandandi for years, and now he is merely attempting to hide his actions. "I will not allow him to get away with it," Kirk said in an interview with the Gossip blog, in which he called him a liar and manipulator. Kirk's comments just made the situation between the two men worse. Once more, fans were divided, with the whole thing was becoming a circus for the media, with some supporting the Mendeecees' charges and others supporting Kirk's. Every day there were new public feuds, twists, and disclosures. The Hip Hop and Love group was caught up in a never-ending cycle of rumors and scandal, and fans couldn't get enough of the drama. But as the drama unfolded, the question of who was telling the truth remained. Would the truth about his relationship with Rasheeda finally come to light, or would Mendeecees be able to clear his name? The world watched as Rasheeda and Yandi continued to deal with the fallout from the shocking allegations. This controversy had irrevocably changed the hip-hop and love world, and it seemed that nothing would ever be the same. The once beautiful reality television industry had been replaced by a jumbled, entangled web of deceit, treachery, and heartbreak. The stakes were higher than ever before. Fans were wondering how it would all end as the drama unfolded, and the impact of Mendeecees and Rasheeda's shocking accusations grew stronger over the course of the weeks. The once close-knit hip-hop and love group was torn apart by accusations of deceit and treachery, and every new development had fans captivated and listening to whatever Mendeecees, Rasheeda, and Mendeecees had to say. The drama was far from over, but the initial shock of Rasheeda's admission that she had spent the night with Mendeecees had started to wear off. The situation became more complex and confusing the more the three of them tried to deny and clarify. No matter how people tried to turn away, they were unable to do so. This poisonous drama seemed to have no end in sight. As time passed, it became clear that the public's focus was shifting. Mendeecees had gone through a lot of emotional turmoil, and the train wreck was too dramatic, too intense, and too unvarnished to ignore. She had pondered the lies she had been told during restless evenings, and even though she no longer trusted men, she still hoped that there was some part of him that was incapable of the treachery that everyone was accusing him of. As the couple's once strong bond broke down, she found herself turning to her closest friends for comfort. It was well known that those in Mendeecees' inner circle had begun to question the men's loyalty, and they weren't afraid to voice their concerns. Many people advised her to leave the man who could so easily deceive her, but Mendeecees found it hard to reconcile with him despite the suspicions. Her heart wasn't ready to let go of Menace. She had been with him through thick and thin, but the pressure was mounting. As she went about her daily activities, Mendeecees couldn't help but notice how distant they were growing. As much as she wanted to believe he was innocent, his lack of transparency made it nearly impossible. His silence spoke volumes, and now there was tension and mistrust in every conversation they had. Mendeecees couldn't shake the feeling that Mendeecees hiding something more important than she could have ever imagined, and his detours and evasions made her feel even more alone. He was unable to escape the chaos that had gotten out of control and felt as though he was drowning in accusations. Despite his best efforts to keep his reputation intact, the media storm continued. Every statement, post, and interview was scrutinized until it was exhausted. Although Dee had tried to protect her from the unpleasant parts of it all, he realized that he might have been more forthright with Mendeecees from the start. The more he tried to defend himself, the more the media and his supporters seemed to turn against him. No matter what he said, it didn't seem to be enough. Then the bombshell hit, an unexpected turn of events that no one had expected, and a mysterious video of Mendeecees and Rasheeda laughing and joking together late at night reappeared online. It appeared to be an intimate conversation, but the context was unclear and the tape was shaky, but the implications were immense. Viewers quickly interpreted the video as proof that Mendeecees and Rasheeda's night together had been more than innocent. Fans erupted on social media, demanding answers from Mendeecees and Rasheeda after the video reignited the rumors. The public was divided, once more. Some saw it as further evidence of the affair, while others believed it to be a casual conversation. With the drama at its peak, it was becoming increasingly difficult to distinguish between what was real and what wasn't. Mendeecees eventually issued another. He made a public statement as the demand increased, but this time he behaved differently on Instagram. He seemed exhausted from the ongoing battle to prove his identity, and his voice was shaky when he began. "I know you're waiting for me to explain myself, but let me be clear. Rasheeda and I never had an affair. The video you watched isn't what you think. It was just a misunderstanding. We were just talking as though we normally do, and we've been friends for a long time. I can't keep fighting the rumors because they've taken on a life of their own. I will do everything in my power to make things right because I love my wife, Mendeecees." His comments caused mixed reactions from fans. Some were sympathetic to his situation and thought he was right, while others didn't. They pointed to the video and the fact that he had never adequately addressed the rumors about his night out with Rasheeda. It seemed like the drama would never end, no matter what the men said, but Rasheeda did. In an open interview with the tabloid magazine, she stated, "I've been honest from the beginning. The reality is that we spent the night together, and it's not just about that one night. It's about everything that happened before it. You may believe whatever you want. Don't be duped by him." She continued to give the world her version of events and stood by her claims. NBC tries to give the impression that I'm lying, but I'm not. Her statement only served to widen the gulf, and her supporters united to demand justice. The entire situation continued to fall apart. Though the harsh reality of the situation continued to pull her in the opposite direction, Mendeecees' heart was telling her one thing. Despite her deep affection for men, the foundation of their relationship was suddenly collapsing under her feet. As she thought about the accusations, She began to wonder if she would ever be able to trust him completely again. Yandi found herself in a difficult situation with no end in sight. Responses. As the dispute between A and Yandi intensified, who was being truthful? Would the strained friendship between Menz and Yandi ever be restored? Would Rasheeda ever stop accusing Mendeecees of lying? Finally, and perhaps most importantly, who would prevail? Only time would tell. But one thing was certain. The fallout from this dispute would undoubtedly impact each of them in some way, as well as the hip-hop and romantic scenes would never be the same. Although the audience was captivated by the spectacle, it was clear that the actual lives behind the headlines had been irrevocably changed. The entire cast had been thrown into a tumultuous situation. The drama was no longer merely a plot point for and Rasheeda. It was their lives. They had to face the consequences of their actions and hope that they could somehow repair the damage they had caused, while they all attempted to navigate the chaos they had caused. The whole love and hip-hop fandom has been captivated by the drama between Rasheeda and Yandi, and it doesn't seem to be going anywhere. What do you think then? Is Mendeecees just caught up in a web of deceit? Or is Rasha speaking the truth? Given everything that has happened, would Yandi ever be able to move past the shocking reports that Rita spent the night with men from D? Please let us know your thoughts and opinions in the space provided below. Do you think Mendeecees is innocent? Or do you think Rita's version of events is accurate? Can they possibly save their relationship? Or is Yandi's faith in him completely destroyed? You must have a lot to say about the drama that is unfolding. Let's get the conversation started, so don't hold back. If you're as invested in this as we are, please click the like button to show your support. This is far from the end of the story, and we will continue to provide you with the most recent developments. As always, thank you for watching, stay connected, and participate. We don't want you to miss a second of the many fascinating rumors, shocking disclosures, and reality TV drama that are on the horizon. To be the first to know when new updates are released, make sure you subscribe to our channel and enable the notification bell. Situation.